Let us welcome for the last topic of the fifth unit. It is about the Supreme Court. I hope all of you are interested in listening what exactly is the Supreme Court. So these are the contents that we are going to cover during our discussion, that is Supreme Court, organization of Supreme Court, independence of Supreme Court, jurisdiction and powers of Supreme Court. So let us see how the Supreme Court is working, what are the powers that Supreme Court is having. Supreme Court. Like the American Constitution, the Indian Constitution has established an integrated judicial system with the Supreme Court at the top and the High Court below it. Under a High Court, there are archi-subordinate courts, that is, district courts and other lower courts. This single system of court, adopted from the Government of India Act 1935, enforce both the central laws as well as the state laws. In USA, on the other hand, the federal laws are enforced by the federal judiciary and the state laws are enforced by the state judiciary. There is thus a double system of court in USA, one for the center and other for the state. To sum up, the India, although the federal country like USA, has unified judiciary and one system of fundamental law and justice. The Supreme Court of India was inaugurated on the January 28, 1950. It succeeded the Federal Court of India, established under the Government of India Act 1935. However, the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is greater than that of its predecessors. This is because the Supreme Court has replaced the British Privy Council at the highest court of appeal. Article 124 to 147 in Part 5 of the Constitution deals with the organization, independence, jurisdiction, powers, procedure and so on of the Supreme Court. Parliament is also authorized to regulate them. Organization of the Supreme Court. At present, the Supreme Court consists of 31 judge, 1 Chief Justice and 3 other judges. In February 2009, the Centre notified an increase in number of Supreme Court judges from 26 to 31, including the Chief Justice of India. This followed the enactment of Supreme Court Number of Judges Amendment Act 2008. Originally, the strength of Supreme Court was fixed at 8. The Parliament has increased this number of other judges progressively in 10 in 1956, to 13 in 1966, 17 in 1977 and 25 to 1986. Means there were only 10 judges in the 1956, 13 in 1960, 17 in 1977 and 25 in 1986. Independence of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has been assigned a very significant role in the Indian democratic political system. It is a federal court, the highest court of appeal, the guarantor of the fundamental right of citizen and guardian of the Constitution. So please keep in mind that Supreme Court is a guarantor of fundamental rights of the citizen and it is also a guardian of the Constitution. Therefore, its dependence becomes very essential for the effective discharge of the duties assigned to it. It should be free from encroachment, pleasure and interference of the executive and legislature. It should be allowed to do the justice without fear or favor. The Constitution has made the following provisions to safeguard and ensure the independence and impartial functioning of the Supreme Court. First, mode of appointment. The judges of the Supreme Court are appointed by the President in consultation with the member of judiciary itself. This provision curtails the absolute discretion of the executive as well as ensures that the judicial appointments are not based on any political or practical consideration. Then, security of tenure. The judges of the Supreme Court are provided with the security of tenure. They can be removed from the office by the President only in the manner and on the ground mentioned in the Constitution. This means that they do not hold their office during the pleasure of President, though they are appointed by him. This is obvious from the fact that no judges of Supreme Court have been removed so far. Then, fixed service condition. The salaries, allowances, privileges, leaves and pension of the judges of the Supreme Court are determined from time to time by the Parliament. They cannot be changed to their disadvantage after their appointment except during the financial emergency. Thus, the condition of service for the judges of the Supreme Court remain the same during their term of office. Then, expenses charged on the consolidated fund. The salaries, allowances and the pensions of the judges and the staff as well as all administrative expenses of the Supreme Court are charged on the consolidated fund of the India. Thus, they are non-votable by the Parliament. So, from this point we come to know that they are the Supreme Court or the members and staff could not vote by the Parliament. Conduct of judges cannot be discussed. The Constitution prohibits any discussion in the Parliament or in a state legislature with respect to the conduct of judges of the Supreme Court in the discharge of their duties, except when the impeachment motion is under consideration of the Parliament. Ban on practice after retirement. The retired judges of Supreme Court are prohibited from pleading or acting in any court or before any authority within the territory of India. This ensures that they do not favor anyone in the hope of future favor. Then, power to punish for its contempt. The Supreme Court can punish any person for their contempt. Thus, its action and decision cannot be criticized and opposed by anyone. This power is vested in Supreme Court to maintain its authority, dignity and honor. Freedom to appoint its staff. The Chief Justice of India can appoint officer and servant of the Supreme Court without any interference from the executive. He can also prescribe their condition of service. Then, its jurisdiction cannot be curtailed. The Parliament is not authorized to curtail the jurisdiction and power of the Supreme Court. The Constitution has guaranteed the Supreme Court jurisdiction of various kinds. However, the Parliament can extend the same. And the last point is separation from the executive. The Constitution directs the state to take steps to separate the judiciary from the executive in public service. This means that the executive authority should not possess the judicial powers. Consequently, upon its implementation, the role of executive authority in judicial administration came to an end. Then, jurisdiction and power of Supreme Court. The Constitution has conferred a very extensive jurisdiction and vast power on the Supreme Court. It is not only a federal court like American Supreme Court, but also a final court of appeal like British House of Lords. It is also the final interpreter and guardian of Constitution and guarantor of the fundamental rights of the citizens. Further, it has advisory and the supervisory powers. Therefore, Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, a member of Drafting Committee of Constitution, rightly remarked that the Supreme Court of India has more power than any other Supreme Court in any part of the world. The jurisdiction and powers of Supreme Court can be classified into the following. First one is original jurisdiction, right jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, advisory, a court of record, power of judicial review, and other powers. Besides the above, the Supreme Court has numerous other powers. Let us see what are those. It decides the dispute regarding the election of president and the vice president. In this regard, it has the original, exclusive, and final authority. It inquires into the conduct and behavior of chairman and member of Union Public Service Commission on reference made by the president. If it finds them guilty of misbehavior, it can be recommended the president for their removal. The advice rendered by the Supreme Court in this regard is binding on the president. Next is it has power to review its own judgment. Thus, it is not bound by its previous decision and can depart from it in the interest of justice on the community welfare. In brief, the Supreme Court is a self-correcting agency. For example, in case of Keshavananda Bharati case 1973, the Supreme Court departed from its previous judgment in the Golaknath case. It is authorized to withdraw the case pending before the High Court and dispose of them by itself. It can also transfer a case or appeal pending before one High Court to the another High Court. Then its law is binding on all courts in India. Its decree or order is enforceable throughout the country. All authorities, it may be civil or judicial, in the country should act and in aid of Supreme Court. It is the ultimate interpreter of Constitution. It can give a final version to the spirit and content of the provision of the Constitution and verbiage used in the Constitution. It has power of judicial superintendence and control over all the courts and tribunal functioning in entire territory of country. Thus, the Supreme Court jurisdiction and power with respect to the matter in the Union list can be enlarged by the Parliament. Further, its jurisdiction and power with respect to other matters can be enlarged by the special agreement of the center and the state. In this particular video, we discussed about the Supreme Court, then its functioning, powers of the Supreme Courts and all. Thank you for watching.